Think about this for a second. How can the wealthiest nation on earth, surrounded by overflowing grocery stores and endless restaurant menus, still suffer from malnutrition? It sounds like a contradiction, but it's America's reality. People are eating more than ever before, yet their bodies are quietly starving for real nourishment. And the question is, how did abundance turn into deficiency? Well, in today's video, we're going to uncover the surprising truth behind this paradox of being overfed but undernourished. Trust me, you'll want to stay with me till the very end, because once you understand this hidden problem, you'll never look at your plate the same way again. So, what does overfed but undernourished really mean? Being overfed means the body is getting more calories than it truly needs. On average, Americans consume about 3,600 calories a day, hundreds, sometimes even 1,000 more than most people burn. That should mean plenty of energy, right? But most of these calories don't come from wholesome meals. Instead, they're from fast food, sodas, chips, frozen dinners, and snacks that are calorie-heavy but nutrition-light. People feel full, but their bodies aren't satisfied at the cellular level. They're like machines running on cheap fuel, enough to keep going, but not enough to run smoothly. Now let's flip the coin. Being undernourished doesn't mean starving. It means the body isn't receiving the right vitamins, minerals, and nutrients it desperately needs to function well. According to the study published in The Guardian, about 85% of Americans fail to meet the FDA's daily recommendations for key nutrients. Shockingly, more than half of children lack enough vitamin D and vitamin E, nutrients that are crucial for strong bones, growth, and immunity. Picture this. You finish a large burger with fries and a soda. Your stomach feels full, but your cells are still hungry. It's like filling your car with dirty fuel. The tank looks fine, but the engine keeps sputtering. That's exactly what's happening inside millions of bodies every day. How did we end up in this situation? This is where things get interesting. If food is everywhere in America, why isn't it nourishing? The answer comes down to how the food system, lifestyle, and culture have evolved. The processed food trap. Why calories don't equal nutrition. Almost 60% of the American diet now comes from foods that barely resemble the natural ingredients they started from. We're talking about sugary cereals, frozen pizzas, artificially flavored snacks, and sodas. These foods are designed to be cheap, addictive, and long-lasting on store shelves. The downside? They're stripped of nutrients like fiber, antioxidants, and essential vitamins. Lifestyle makes things even tougher. Long commutes, demanding work schedules, and jam-packed routines push people toward convenience. Cooking from scratch feels impossible when time is short. So drive-thrus and frozen meals become the default. Before long, fast food and processed snacks don't just become a choice, they become a habit. Why does junk food cost less than real food? Here's one of the most frustrating parts of the paradox. Unhealthy food is often cheaper than healthy food. You can grab a $1 burger or a big soda for less than the cost of a small pack of fresh berries. Why? Because U.S. farm subsidies often go toward crops like corn and soy, the backbone of cheap oils and syrups used in processed foods. Meanwhile, fresh produce doesn't get the same level of support, making fruits and vegetables more expensive. This creates a vicious cycle. Families trying to stretch their budgets naturally lean toward cheaper, calorie-dense foods. Over time, nutrient-rich whole foods begin to feel like a luxury rather than a basic necessity. And then there's the marketing machine. Food companies spend billions each year making processed foods irresistible. From cartoon mascots targeting children to healthy-sounding labels like low-fat or made with whole grains, people are often tricked into thinking they're making better choices. But most of the time, they're simply buying more processed products disguised as healthy options. When you add all these pieces together, cheap junk food, hectic lifestyles, and relentless marketing, you get a country that eats more than ever before but still struggles to stay nourished. The hidden costs no one talks about. Here's where the real danger lies. Eating too much but nourishing too little doesn't just show up on the scale. It ripples across every part of life. Take obesity, for example. The CDC reports that over 40% of American adults are obese, yet many of them are still deficient in key nutrients like vitamin D, iron, and magnesium. Being overweight doesn't equal being well-fed. It can actually hide malnutrition. This double burden fuels chronic illnesses like diabetes, high blood pressure, and heart disease. Sodium plays a major role here too. USDA data shows that Americans consume an average of 3,500 milligrams of sodium daily, about 1/3 more than the recommended maximum. This excess salt intake is a direct contributor to hypertension, one of the leading causes of heart disease and stroke. And it's not just the body. The brain feels it too. Nutrition is tightly connected to mental health. A study highlighted in The New Yorker found that women who consumed the most ultra-processed foods were 50% more likely to develop depression than those who ate the least. That's no coincidence. Nutrient deficiencies, like omega-3s, B vitamins, and magnesium, have been directly linked to mood swings, anxiety, and low energy. What we eat doesn't just affect our bodies. It shapes our emotions, focus, and resilience. Children bear the heaviest cost. A CNN report reveals that 62% of kids' diets consist of ultra-processed foods, and the impact goes far beyond just childhood obesity. It weakens their immune systems, makes it harder to focus in school, slows down brain development, and raises the risk of serious diseases later in life. In many ways, this cycle is stealing the next generation of their true potential before they even step into adulthood. So, the hidden cost of being overfed but undernourished isn't just extra weight. It's chronic illness, mental health struggles, and futures cut short by preventable lifestyle-related diseases. Is there a way out of this cycle? The good news? Yes, the cycle of being overfed and undernourished can be reversed, but it requires both personal choices and bigger system changes. On a personal level, the best place to start is by asking one simple question. What is this food giving me? Not just in calories, but in nutrition. Whole foods like leafy greens, nuts, beans, fish, fruits, and whole grains pack more value into every bite than processed snacks ever will. Even small swaps matter. Choosing water over soda, snacking on fruit instead of candy, or cooking at home a few times a week may not seem huge, but over time, those little shifts add up to better energy, stronger immunity, and improved mood. There's also wisdom in looking back at traditional diets. For centuries, cultures around the world naturally combined foods to create complete nutrition, like rice with beans for protein or fermented foods for gut health. A Time magazine article pointed out that these traditional diets carried hidden nutritional wisdom, but modern convenience has replaced them with overabundance and empty calories. Reconnecting with these traditions could restore balance in ways modern diets struggle to do. On a bigger scale, real change needs policy. Imagine if fruits and vegetables were subsidized like corn and soy. Suddenly a fresh salad could be cheaper than a burger. What if schools served nutrient-rich meals daily and junk food ads aimed at kids faced stricter rules? These shifts could reshape the food system. Change won't happen overnight, but every step toward nutrient-dense eating, whether by individuals, families, or communities, brings us closer to breaking the cycle. So here's the bottom line. America's problem isn't lack of food. It's the wrong kind of food. People are eating more calories than ever before, but real nourishment is missing. That's why chronic diseases are rising, energy levels are dropping, and mental health is suffering. But change starts with awareness. The next time you grab something to eat, ask yourself, is this food just filling me up? Or is it fueling me? That one question could completely change the way you see your plate. And if you found it helpful, hit that like button, drop your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more eye-opening insights on health and nutrition. Thanks for watching. See you at the next one.